Hey, and welcome back to Tending Lambs. Last week, we went over the question, how will my kids learn that there are consequences to their actions without punishments? And this week, we're going to go over the question, do your kids just ever hear the word no? And the short answer is yes, of course they do. It wouldn't be loving my children for them not to ever hear a no from me. It's pretty simple for me to answer that question, but it takes a little bit more time to answer the questions underneath the question. When people bring up this subject, what they're usually actually asking about is one of three things. Who's in control? Do your kids have boundaries? And will they be prepared for reality? A world full of no's. These are the things that I'm going to try to address now. So many parents feel locked in a standoff with their children. In any given situation where the desires of a parent conflict with that of their child, it can turn into a battle of the wills. For a lot of us, when we're in the position to say no to our children, we can have a hard time committing. For many parents, it's really unnerving to be in the middle of a grocery store, for example, with a screaming toddler, or at home trying to argue with an angry 7-year-old. Big upsets and rejected desires can be uncomfortable for all of us, not just our children. And so it can be really difficult not to cave in when our children are unhappy. In this situation, a child will see that their screaming is making mama or papa upset, and sometimes it means they even get what they want. They're testing the boundaries, looking for how you will respond. In the moment, the child may find it desirable that you give in, but what this child cannot possibly understand yet is that a wishy-washy, easily controlled and manipulated parent is going to make them more uncomfortable. They're looking for those strong boundaries, and when they miss them, it produces even more uncomfortable feelings and will cause them to want to test those boundaries more and more. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the parent that has no problem saying no. They don't mind being strict. But just like the wishy-washy parent, they also have a difficulty accepting the emotions of their child. While the former parent may give in an attempt to calm or soothe the child's big, angry feelings away, the latter feels a very strong urge to be in control and untouched by the child's big emotions. Getting angry at any expression of sadness or anger, they try and cover up these uncomfortable emotions from their children by smothering them, saying things like, "Dry it up," or "If you don't stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about." Many of us were treated this way as children, so it's difficult for us to allow our children to have the emotional space to be upset when we were never given any. What happens in both of these situations is not the parent gaining control, although it may feel that way in the moment, but rather you're allowing the child to dictate the mood and direction of the situation, and sometimes even entire days. Janet Lansbury, one of my very favorite gentle parenting gurus, likes to put it this way. Think of yourself as being in charge, not in control per se. When you think of yourself as a guide, it's so much easier to recognize your role as being a caretaker or a guide and not having to control every little thing about a situation. These children are in our charge, and we can confidently sit in that role, and any anger or frustration that is directed our way can be accepted and empathized with, without our position being in danger or damaged at all. The candy at the store doesn't have to be a big fight. It can either be a, "Nope, not right now. I'm sorry that makes you angry," but the answer is firm. Completely without being fazed at the upset that comes naturally from being denied something they really want. Or you could give them options. All right, you can have this now, or you can have it for dessert after dinner. Your choice. But I can't let you have both. That's way too much sweet for today. Both you and the child recognize who's in charge here. They may try to push the boundaries, and that's pretty normal for all kids. But at the end of the day, they understand that your no is a real no when you're not unaffected but unruffled by the upset that might come at you. Where some parents may give in and buy the candy for their child, thereby teaching the child that their emotional outbursts are what control other people and get them what they want. Others may remain steadfast in not buying the candy, but they'll punish the outburst of emotion from their child. For the gentle parent, the goal is clear. Validate, but not punish the big feelings. But also teach them that the big feelings are not what control them or other people. These moments, when a child lashes out or ends in a tantrum, when they are essentially unwilling or unable to express properly how they feel, these are perfect teaching moments. Whether the actions are deliberate or impulsive, interrupting this connection you have with your child with a spanking in this moment is a surefire way to send the wrong signal to a child who is desperate to know that they are safe with you. Calmly finish the task at hand. Bring the child somewhere safe where they can express these emotions however they need to without interrupting other people's experience, somewhere like the bathroom. Maybe give a little affirmation and let them go at it. And once the big moment has passed, then you can have the conversation and talk about these big feelings and our appropriate responses to them. Maybe you can even do a do-over of the situation so that they can have the practice when the emotions aren't so high of how to respond appropriately. So, no, our children are not in control. Yes, they have boundaries. And yes, hopefully, as they get older, they will be able to handle bigger and bigger no's. As we build a foundation of respect and self-control through teaching and modeling, not through fear and shame. I hope that puts some of your fears to rest and answers some of your questions. If you're interested in what I have to say and learning more about gentle parenting, please don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/tendinglambs. Until next time.